Nigerian government has taken necessary steps to curb the spread of the coronavirus pandemic and prevent an economic recession by cushioning the effects of the COVID-19 basically on the entire economy. In addition to setting up a presidential task force, an economic sustainability committee headed by Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo, the federal government also launched the Nigeria United Nations COVID-19 Basket Fund to serve as the financing and investment platform through which different stakeholders can channel their financial contributions. The response plan is developed around 10 pillars, which includes equipment and consumables, as well as supporting social economic interventions of vulnerable groups. I had an exclusive interview with finance manager, JNC International Limited, Yemisi Shola Uyigbade, on government's plans to contain the virus. Well, she starts by highlighting the dangers of this pandemic COVID-19 poses to the global economy.
Things are not really looking so good. So globally, we're in dire straits, and it's been predicted that for us to get out of this, the governments of different countries across the world will need to spend their way out of this. We have a situation whereby we're going to be, if we're going to be following the Keynesian theory, where when you have a recession or the economy is slowing down, the government needs to be able to spend the way out of it. For Nigeria, we see that the monetary, from the monetary policy side of things are already beginning to happen. The central bank has rolled out a 50 billion fund to support MSMEs and households that can prove that they've been impacted by this. Apart from that, the CBN has also rolled out like 100 billion healthcare support fund. You know, we also have, they've given a 1-year moratorium. They reduced the rates on their loans from 5%, from 9% to 5%. So, and then on the fiscal side too, you just said it in the news now. The government, the federal government, President Buhari, instructed last week that salaries should be paid. We saw the cash give out program. They paid them about 4 months stipends in advance, 20,000. Grains have been released from the reservoir. The government is trying, but there is more that can be done. More can be done.
Yes, let me see.
To ensure that
Mr. Talking about, you've identified all of this. We've seen stimulus programs from all countries, even as far as Nigeria, a source of a lot of interventions coming. How well do you see this, or where do you see this taking us to? How well do you see this playing out in the whole of 2020? Some are saying before there might be a little bit of stability in the global economy, we might get to mid-2021.
Yes, that's before, because most economies are presently shut down now. We're getting out of this. For us in Nigeria, it's even said that we have not peaked yet. America has not peaked yet. They are getting there now. And you know the way the curve is, you have to get to a plateau before you start coming down. Businesses have shut for that period. Before businesses can reopen, manufacturing takes place. You have manufacturing lead time for so many of those things. So we might be looking at Q1 2021 or Q2 2021. If it comes in very early, it's not looking so likely, probably Q4 2020. So generally, globally, the prognosis is not good. But to ensure that we are not that impacted, the government has to roll out, and which they have, stimulus to ensure that the sectors of the economy that are most affected, they are being guarded, they are being safeguarded. Although there have been complaints here and there, but then the government is really trying its best to make sure that, you see, America has rolled out the 2 trillion, France, they've rolled out, Germany has rolled out, different countries are rolling out to support their businesses, to support the economy, and make sure that the economy does not go that way, because if it goes that way, to be able to get it up, it's going to take a long while. So the prognosis is not so good. It is global. The only challenge is that for us in Nigeria, we don't have revenues. Our revenue is tied to oil. Oil is not doing so well now. Our barges are lying on the IC, waiting there, looking for buyers. So prognosis for Nigeria is not so good. Globally, it's not so good, but for us as a nation, and then our debt profile is so high. Our debt profile is so high. At the automobiles auction, the response has not really been that encouraging, because they see us as we have increased risk. There's reduced confidence. Do you understand? So you see a flight to safety, and it's not really looking good. It's not looking good for Nigeria. But if the
Indeed.
government should keep up the stimulus plan on the fiscal and the monetary side, and they stick to it, and they work at it with integrity of purpose, we should be able to weather the storm. The storm is definitely going to come, but we should be able to weather the storm.
Yes, when you will talk about weathering the storm, we see Nigeria always coming out of issues like this. But now let's look at the revenue angle, which you touched. We know Nigeria has issues with revenue, and even at the moment, we see what's happening to our reserves with the dip late last week, and the figures coming out this week shows that we're growing very close to about 30 billion US dollars quite very soon. Now, do you foresee any form of devaluation at the end of all of this?
Well, the CBN has carried out what they call the price readjustment. I would want to use the D word, but in the face of stark realities, there has to be a kind of repricing. That is all I will say. There has to be a repricing.
But let's look at what's been happening in that market, in that space. Talking about Naira to dollar relationship, we already see a shift at the moment. Yes, Central Bank said there was an adjustment. But in all of this, one way or the other, what can we do to continue to stabilize our Forex market?
The easiest way to stabilize our Forex market would have been for everything to go back, rewind to November 2019, and just imagine that nothing happened in China, and we're where we were, working with our budget of sustainability, jobs and job creation and everything. But as it is where we are now, we have to face reality. For the Forex market, except we get some form of funds coming in, except the Russia and Saudi Arabia, they're able to resolve their spat and adjust the supply, which will take up prices, and we can start seeing demand for our crude. Except that happens, I don't see how else we're going to do it. And then additionally, another thing that the federal government has been trying to do is to ensure, well, in some areas that we become self-sufficient internally. We do homegrown things so that we don't have to rely so much on forex. The reason why is because most of our industries, most of our raw materials, we import so many of them for so many of the industries. But if we can source some of those things, we can source locally, it's going to reduce our reliance on FX. So that's a long-term project. In the short term, I don't see how we're going to be able to get out of it. We're already heavily indebted.
Let's look at the newly inaugurated committee. That's the Economic Sustainability Committee, chaired by our Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo. Now, what are your expectations of this committee? The likes of the GMD of NNPC is a member. Minister of State for Petroleum is also a member. Minister of Finance and National Planning. The key players, when you talk of the Nigerian economy, are part of this committee. What are your expectations from them?
For me, there's going to be a reprioritization. This much has been said by the Presidential Economic Advisory Council. That was much earlier in the year. We have to reprioritize our spend plans. We have to look at the budget. I mean, the budget currently, we reviewed the benchmark down. We might need to review it further down. A 20% cut was projected for capital spend and 25% for recurrent spend. I think the recurrent spend should be much deeper. We should take a deeper cut. 25% is just too slow. And whatever cut it is we take from here, we divert immediate attention to the sectors that are most impacted by what is currently going on. The primary sector now is the healthcare sector. We know the state of our healthcare is not been in the best of states. But with this, well, somebody will say in the midst of every what's it called, something bad happening, there's some good that comes out of it. The good we are seeing out of this is that more attention and more focus is being given to the healthcare sector. So what can be done in the interim? I mean, immediately, what I would consider a quick win. We still have a lot of equipment that need to come in, medical equipment that need to come in, but are sitting at the port. It will be nice. I know that the federal house, they are working on a bill to give like a tax rebate, waive import duties, and some things like that. If they can fast track it the way Lagos did their support for this COVID thing, very, very sharp. We can fast track it and put this in place to make things run very, very smoothly. That's number one. Number two, I remember I also read somewhere where Innocent has said, I need so and so amount. You said that local industries should start, local industries should start manufacturing ventilators. If I can get 4 billion, I will get into this. They need to look at supporting local industries and reprioritizing spend plans. We are too heavy on recurrent expenditure. If we can reprioritize it to the sectors that would have the most impact in the immediate, is going to go a long way to help the economy. I think that is where they should focus on primarily. They've already started with the social welfare, giving out monies, food, and all of those things. That should continue.
All right, there, Yemisi, giving our thoughts there with regards to expectations, talking about the Nigerian economy at this time.